My 35 male girlfriend, 21 female, is uncomfortable with my wife's ashes. Edit, girlfriend is 31, not 21.
Oh.
Instantly made me feel better.
Yeah.
Going to try to keep this as short as possible. Please tell me if I'm in the wrong here. Married my high school sweetheart at age 25. She died in a car accident 5 years ago. We loved to travel, and so I had her ashes made into a diamond to take her with me on my adventures. Her ashes, along with both of our wedding rings, are on a chain I carry in my pocket on our adventures. Helps me feel close to her. I always love and miss her, but I know she would want me to be happy and find love. I've been dating a new girl for over a year. I dated a bit a couple years after her wife's death, but never found love until new girl, M. M is great and has been so supportive and understanding of my late wife. She knows about the chain and never said it bothered her, though she never knew the stone was my wife's ashes. I used to keep the chain on my bedpost, but thought it would be disrespectful to M, so it's now safe in a drawer. I still take it with me on travels. Em and I have talked about moving in together when her lease ends in 2 months. I am ecstatic for this. I want to spend my life with her. Yesterday, I was packing for a solo weekend trip to the East Coast as she was over. When I picked the chain, Em asked me what the other ring was, not X's ring or my wedding rings. I explained that I had my ex's ashes pressed into a stone, and she flipped. Couldn't believe I had, quote, lied to her for a year and said what I had done was creepy and weird. Gave me an ultimatum, get rid of the stone. I can keep our rings on the chain, just not the ashes, or she will not move in with me. I asked if I could put the stone away in a drawer, but she said no, it had to go. She refuses to spend another night with my wife in the house and said it's her or me. Please help, Reddit. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose this girl, but I also don't want to give up respect for the woman I once loved. My ex was not close to her parents, so I cannot give it to them. I can't just throw it away. I'm at a loss. Canceled my weekend trip. I just wanted to make things work with M. Edit, I keep thinking to myself that making this stone was totally crazy. M told me that no girl would ever be comfortable with it, and that if I keep the stone, I will, quote, be living a lonely, miserable life. Women or men, would this be a deal breaker to you? Am I insane? No, not a deal breaker for me.
No, that's wow. I feel like my first reaction is I think she has been waiting to bring this up.
Yeah.
It just feels like it was like,
too perfect.
oh, what is that? And then just like out of nowhere, not like a shock, like, oh, okay. And then you kind of take the time and think about it.
Do you feel like she kind of already knew? Or had a hint?
Maybe a feeling, but I just feel like the bracelet itself, I feel like has been just waiting to be like a point of contention. I don't know why.
I guess, well, and if she already knew the fact that the rings on the chain were his wedding ring, the wife's wedding ring, if you see a third ring on there, you're probably like, what the fuck is this?
Right, for sure. For sure,
So
you'd be
she
curious.
probably has been wondering about it for a while.
It just seems so like ask and then pop.
It was quite the explosion. I really, really, really have a problem with the fact that she is being really guilt trippy and just popping off on him. Like, she refuses to spend another night in the house with my wife in it.
Yeah, what is that affecting?
Nothing.
Like, I feel so bad for this guy. It's like he's just he's dealing with so much shit and he's trying to move on. He's found some happiness, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Why can't he cherish an old relationship? It's just like it's having a symbol of like an old amazing friendship.
I think it's beautiful. Like I've said on other episodes in the past, like I would love to be turned into a ring and like pass me out like a party favor to family. Like I don't give a fuck. Like
That's a weird thought.
I told my mom this though too. Like you can turn ashes into a ring. She was like, My mom absolutely loves jewelry. Like, she worked in the jewelry business for over 20 years. Like, she loves jewelry. And she's like, I think I would like to do that. I think it is a beautiful keepsake. Like, we've recently talked about turning your dog's ashes into a stone for you to put in a ring.
Yeah.
I think it is a beautiful way to remember someone, and stones last forever. Like, once you make that, it lasts for fucking ever.
Oh yeah, and it's hard to find a thing to do with ashes too. Like, you like to spread them in someone's favorite place or plants or whatever, but or just have them there. But I think the ring or just a stone in any sort of jewelry or anything you could apply it to is a way to make it can be with you at all times.
That. I cannot tell you the last time I've been to a cemetery. Like, I've lost a lot of grandparents, and I haven't been to a cemetery and like paid respect to their tombstones or their graves in forever.
Yeah.
Having a diamond like that or an important piece of jewelry that, like, it's so, I find it like, I get some people are probably like, what the fuck? No, that's gross. And I kind of tussle with this because I love the Jewish tradition of, like, there's no embalming, you go back to the earth.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, just maybe chop off an arm and like cremate it. I don't know. It's
just the chop off the arm was a little graphic, but
I don't know. Or hair. You can do it with hair. Someone actually I saw on TikTok, there's this like eternal diamond account or whatever. Someone cut their horse's mane and sent just the hair in.
That's cool.
So you can do it with just hair. So maybe
all carbon.
Maybe just shave my fucking head. I don't know. But the ashes thing, I literally had a shit grin on my face when you were talking about ashes and spreading them, because I also just saw a TikTok of these two girls that went to spread their father's ashes in this ocean, or like throw it in the ocean off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
And the wind picked up right as they dumped, and their father's ashes all blew back on them, went in their mouths, went in their eyes.
That's terrible.
It's so traumatic. And it's like, then he didn't even get where he wanted to go. Like, sad. Make rocks or coral reefs.
Well, I think you can do both.
Or trees.
It doesn't take the whole thing.
It doesn't. From what I've seen about the process of it, like, it takes such a small.
It was like a quarter cup or something.
I think it's less. It's small.
Oh yeah.
It's not a lot.
I think you can do multiple things, which I think is really cool. I just love the thought of it turns it into a keepsake in a whole different way.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's for the right person. If you find value in that, I think it is so special.
Yeah, for sure.
So special. This gal though, are you in the therapy boat? Do you think they could come to terms? Or are you in the call it boat so far?
Well, what I do know is he's caught in the middle of this. Like, he is in one of those very unfortunate places that it's the place I hate. I hate being in that place of it's this or this, and you're caught in the middle of like a big decision. And it's just like, well, fuck, I didn't want to be here. Like, what? I just hate it so much.
Ultimatums like that.
Yeah.
They're a little toxic most times.
I feel like it's an overreaction. I feel like you could have a conversation, say, hey, I'm uncomfortable for these reasons. And the thing I'm focusing on is, I think, her reaction. And that is what I would focus on first. Less about the topic, more about the handling
reaction
of the topic and the emotions. That is just, I like someone I can sit down and have a conversation with. No matter, I get emotions, I get, right away there might be.
She was probably in such shock.
And that's fine, but I think if you can get yourself together, sit down and have a conversation, that's a real, true relationship. That's where communication's at its best. Emotional reactions, sure, everyone has them, but
they get the best of us sometimes.
But it's very unfair to put him in this position.
Yeah.
And so I feel like,
oh my God, he lost the love of his life.
Right, and now he found someone else he's like willing to spend the rest of his life with, which is huge. You don't want to just throw that away over someone giving you this little ultimatum.
He did kind of slip that in there. That is important.
I think this is a therapy situation. I don't know. I just hope it works out because I don't want
I do know the end for this one.
The Rock doesn't need to go. It doesn't. And I feel like even the fact when the part that I felt so bad about in this story is when he even was like, well, could I just find put it in the drawer, or like a safe place or whatever? It's like, no, it has to go.
Yeah.
It's like, well, come on, work with me.
Yeah, so he does give an update on the original post. Whoa, this totally blew up. I had no idea my story would get such a response. I was hoping for a comment or two, but this is crazy. This morning, I took the time to read what all of you wrote, and I'm hoping that M will settle for a safety deposit box or leaving it at my mom's. She's never had somebody she cares about pass away, and I think the thought of my wife's remains being in my house freaked her out. She's coming over tonight to talk. I will try to update you soon. Thanks again for all the support and helping me know what I did with my wife's remains wasn't that insane. Because one of the top comments on this one is, first off, you turning the ashes into a diamond is the most awesome way to carry someone with you.
Yeah.
It was a great idea. Don't ever get down on yourself. That said, and this is important, don't ever get rid of that stone.
Yes.
Ever. You'll never, ever forgive yourself.
Correct.
Wife's remains, like, they're not remains. It's not like you have her mummified in your home. You took the ashes and pressed the carbon into a stone. Like, it's not remains. It is
and it isn't, but it's. I get what you're saying.
I know, like, it's like, don't make it sound so weird.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. Oh God, I'm so warm today. This is what menopause feels like.
Not
Hot.
there yet.
I'm hot. I wonder what the earliest you can go into menopause is. Okay, update.
I don't know where these thoughts come from.
I have really high thoughts sober. It's always been me. You're like, shut up.
To the update.
Let's get done with this. We met up on Saturday. There was a lot of dialogue between us, but I'm going to try to keep it short and paraphrase what we said. I know many of you said to give M time to cool off, but I just couldn't spend my whole weekend knowing she was unhappy. I invited her over for dinner and spent the day cooking her favorite meal. I took the ring over to my mom's house because I know it being in the house made her uncomfortable and bought her some flowers. I really wanted to show her that she has no competition, that I love her. When she comes over, the first thing she says is, quote, "Is it still in the house?" When I assure her it's not, she comes in and sits down. I start by apologizing, explaining that I never meant to lie to her or hurt her, but that I now realize I was lying by omission and it wasn't fair to her. I apologized again and said I hope she didn't lose all her trust she had in me. I then told her how much I love her. I explained how much she means to me and how easily I could see myself spending my life with her. I go on and on about how happy she makes me, blah, blah, blah. She likes all of this lovey, apologetic talk and is smiling and holding my hand, telling me it's okay and that she loves me too. I then say, quote, "It's time to talk about the ring." And she changes right before my eyes. She lets go of my hand and her happy face is replaced by one of anger. She said something along the lines of, "I thought you got rid of it." And I told her that I never said that. I simply said it wasn't currently in the house. She got angry, but I asked her to listen to me before she said anything. I explained that when my wife died, I didn't have the heart to bury her, and having her remains around felt odd to me, so the ring seemed like the best option. At this point, she's crying, with her face in her hands. I ask if she would be okay with me keeping it at my mom's place or in a safety deposit box. She's silent, then cries, quote, "Why wouldn't you just bury her like a normal person?" Now I'm crying, and I say that I'm sorry, that I respect my wife's memory, but I wish it didn't disrupt our relationship because I love you. Anyways, we cried. She said that she wishes the ring didn't bug her as much as it does, but that she's just not sure if she can be with me. She says making your wife a ring isn't what, quote, normal people do, and it's making her question my character. I asked her what she wants me to do with the ring, what her idea of, quote, get rid of it is, hoping we could compromise. She said she doesn't know what I should do with it. She just wish it didn't exist. She said she loves me, but she's just not sure about the relationship anymore. Told me she needs to think on it. Left without even eating her dinner. I haven't heard from her since. I'm not quite sure what to do or where we are at this point. We have stuff at each other's places and both have keys. I love this girl and I don't want to easily give up on us, but I'm hesitant to reach out to her again. I'm thinking of giving it some time and hoping she reaches out to me. I don't know. The thought of losing M breaks my heart. Edit. I want to add that I really don't think this is about being insecure or jealous of my wife. I really think M is freaked out by the fact that I've had my wife cremated and turned into a stone. I think even if I had her in an urn, M would still be freaked out. M hasn't had any experience with death, but I think she was raised with the idea that when somebody dies, they go into the ground. The fact that my wife isn't buried somewhere freaks her out.
Interesting.
Update number 2.
Yeah, let's go.
Last night I came home from work to find a framed photo from my wedding hanging on the wall with the chain dangling around it. There was a 5-page note from M on the coffee table. I'm not going to type the whole note because a lot of it was very personal to M. However, I will say that there was a lot of apologizing on her part. She told me that she thought a lot about the ring and even did some Googling and realized that it's not all that uncommon. She said she was completely embarrassed by her reaction and that she was uncomfortable with the thought of being around anybody's remains. She called herself disrespectful, childish, and pathetic. M also said that what I did was a beautiful thing and shows what a sensitive and loving man I am. She said that she wants to be with me more than anything and doesn't want to change a thing about our tradition, taking the ring traveling. She told me she now sees that it's a lovely idea and that my wife was lucky to have me and my family. That she as well is lucky to now be a part of my and my family's life. She concluded saying that she felt as though we had a good connection and handled conflict well. I'm going to disagree with that before I go on.
Yep.
But okay.
Yep.
She said she hopes that I know her well enough to know that this isn't the way she typically reacts. I do. She also told me she was going to get therapy as she is worried about what will happen once somebody she knows dies. The last part of her note said that she left a surprise in my fridge, a 6-pack of my favorite beer, and that she'd love to enjoy them with me if I'll have her. She told me to take all the time I need before calling her, and that she hopes someday I will forgive her for her actions. I called her immediately, we talked, and she pretty much repeated what she said in the note. I repeated what I said at dinner. She is my number one, and that I am so sorry for lying about the ring. We have plans to see each other tomorrow night. I love the photo of me and my wife. I don't have many photos of us and none that are framed. The chain looks perfect around it, and it's a nice little memorial to have in my home. I love the idea of starting a new home with them while still having my wife's memory be a part of it. I know this is not what many of you wanted to read. You wanted me to kick M to the curb. However, I think that a year of good actions makes up for one bad action. Her apology was genuine, and I really do feel as though this won't happen again. If she tries to control something like this again and I can't resolve it, I guess I know where to post. I can't thank you all enough. And then they go again. Edit. I was expecting you all to be disappointed in me, and yet the first comments are saying how happy you are for me. Thanks again, Reddit.
Good.
Rough road on that
Very
one.
Good. Yeah.
Are you shocked? Are you kind of shocked with the ending?
Yeah, a little bit. But like,
wow.
The ending is how it was supposed to be the whole time.
100%? 100p.
I am understanding the more fear of death and remains and that kind of thing. Having more of that reaction.
Yeah.
Or spawning that kind of reaction.
Is my death anxiety rubbing off on you?
No. I'm saying from her perspective, if that's truly a huge fear, I can understand how it's like, oh, like how you'd have more of that strong reaction versus an emotional response to a memory of a wife and a token of a wife.
I truly think, like, especially the fact she pointed out, like, oh, she Googled it and realized it wasn't that uncommon. I think she was just truly super uneducated. Like, she probably thought he was like a one-of-a-kind weirdo that just did this.
True. Right.
And then being uncomfortable, like already being uncomfortable with death as it is, this was probably just like over the top for her. Like, oh my God, like what happens when I die? Like, is this man about to cut me up in pieces?
Right,
like,
yeah.
She was probably so confused.
It just didn't come across that way initially.
Oh my, no, she had a grade A meltdown. Grade A.
But
worked out well.
Happy ending.
I still think they need to go to couples therapy though, because I do not think they handle conflict well.
No, that was an interesting point in there.
No. And it also, like, I don't know if it was like the gaslighting initially that she did, like only weirdos do this, or you're going to end up alone, or you're going to be lonely, like normal people don't do this.
It was a big emotional response.
Yes. And so I don't know if it was the gaslighting that made him feel so bad, but throughout all of this, like he was the one that was so apologetic when it's like he didn't really have anything to be apologetic for.
Yeah, and like safety deposit box, like mom's house.
He was more than accommodating.
It's just you're almost going too far to accommodate a little bit.
Yes. It was almost unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
And expectations that shouldn't have been put on him. They were very unfair. Like we see this a lot with a lot of these posts. Wife destroying pictures.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Boyfriend destroyed my best friend's t-shirt, that they're past. And I think people have a hard time competing with ghosts when they don't need to. But like, come on, people. It's 2021.
Like ghosts and exes too.
About to be 2022. Let sleeping dogs lie. Just, you can't compete with the dead.
Or the living that are now exes.
Exes sneak back up on you sometimes, though, for certain people.
I know, but I think it some of that
but the
can
good
apply
ones
in the same way.
The good ones. Don't ruin something with a good one because you just have some insecurities. Like, address it in couples therapy.
There you go.
There we go. Coming up next, or maybe before this, depending on how my morning goes tomorrow, will be Unhinged. The stories are good, you guys. Just like these. They're good.
I like the updates.
I know the updates are nice because then we get like some solid answers of like
satisfying.
Did it work? Did it not work? But I highly, highly, highly recommend couples therapy. Me and Justin are gonna go soon, either before the holidays or after. I hope before. I think we gotta do it before. Set us up for success on our trip home.
What was in the box?
And on that note, you guys, until next time. Bye. What was in the box? I want to know. I wonder if there's an update on that one.